What's up, guys? Welcome to Monchkinz Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Monchkinz logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another Versus video where I take on the hardest contents in the global version of the game. In today's video is going to be the Lufenia fight for Act 3, Chapter 1, Part 1, this is one of the most difficult fights, I would say. The thing is, I kind of went with the cheese strat for this one. And yeah, you can definitely cheese this. So even though I say it was one of the hardest fights, it is still possible to do it without making it too hard on yourself. But if you are planning to do it the, I guess, shall we call it the proper way, then it is definitely one hell of a fight. If you do plan to cheese it, it's still pretty tight, but I think it's an alternative that I would rather take. Anyway, guys, before we do start about this video, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, because it does help the channel. Now, let's talk about this in phases and some mechanics of the fight. So, how is this cheesable? Well, HP silence is a thing. So, the thing with these bosses are they do a ton of HP attacks, and to a certain point, if they are able to pull off their flamethrower plus, I believe, they get to the point where you can't debuff them, which makes the fight a whole lot harder. So the one way to cheese this is to just obviously hit them with the HP silence from the very beginning of the fight, and they will basically stay that way if you can keep the debuff up enough. So, you know, it's one of those things where if you can do it, I would highly suggest do it, because it just makes things a lot easier. And the other way to do it is to delay them as much as possible. Now, there is a caveat to the delay, and you know, removing their turns. That's, I guess, another form of delay. So there are certain points in the fight that you will notice in the turn order that their I guess icon has those arrows going around them, which means they cannot be delayed, or you cannot remove their turn. So one way to deal with this is to do all your turn delays or turn deletion at the start of the fight, all the way to, you know, as much as you can. And the other way to deal with it is to actually let them have a turn. Once they have a turn, that thing disappears. And I've noticed this during, you know, a couple of tries as well. When I was doing, you know, HP silence, they will have that little icon on their turn order, and then once they have a turn, it disappears. So as far as I'm aware, you do have to let them have a turn for it to disappear, but at the same time, you don't really want them to keep on attacking you and dealing HP damage, because once they get to a certain point, like I said, they will throw out those flamethrower plus, and then you'll be in real trouble since you cannot apply any debuffs. So the fight itself is in phases. So phase 1 starts from 100% all the way down to I was gonna say 70%. Oh, no, excuse me, 79%. So below 80% is where the next phase starts, right? Basically, they will remove every single buff or every single debuff that you have applied on them. So you will have to reapply those HP silences. Make sure in the turn order that you are doing this properly, since, you know, you don't want to get attacked. So Make sure to plan out and gauge when they are going to recover their brave and such things as that. And then the next phase will basically start from that at 79%, and then at a certain point, I think it's less than 70%, where they give themselves a shield. I'm not 100% sure on the percentage on that one, but they will pull up a shield. And then below 50% is where I believe they will be starting to have their Lufenia orbs up, right? So the Lufenia orbs, you will have to use ice-based attacks, and it will increase by 5. So Onion Knight is an option here. You can use him as a call ability as well, just to, you know, get the orbs up. And of course, if you have a friend, support Onion Knight, which what I have here, since I don't have any other, you know, ice-based attacks at the with this particular team, then Onion Knight's friend support definitely helps. Now, you don't actually need to have Onion Knight in your main team, because the amount of increase is actually pretty high. And if you have Shiva as your summon, you definitely will get them to the max, which is a 15 turn count, or I guess Lufenia count. So once you get below 50%, that is basically where the next phase starts once again. And then below 30% is another, I do believe, shield. And yeah, you have to go through that shield. The shield is pretty annoying because they take less and less damage. So things like Enchant, Imperil, I do believe they are immune to elemental resist down, so there's nothing you can do about that. But Hope can do a magic resist down, which is not elemental. So if you have Hope's LD, you can definitely do that. This is just other ways, like I said, if you can just turn delete them, you shouldn't have much issues as well. I would highly suggest trying to cheese this fight. I just don't like making it harder for people. And so if you want to do the proper way, kudos to you. Sometimes I do like to do that, and believe me, I tried as well, but being on night shift, my patience is not as high as it normally is. So I ended up just like, I just really want to finish this fight. And you know, there's events coming out for the JP version, and RCL's event is coming up. I'm running out of time. This video is very late and I'm not releasing videos as frequent anymore as well, so that doesn't help. So all these like little outside pressure kind of just made me, I'll probably just try and cheese this fight. But yeah, speaking of how we, you know, how the channel is doing, obviously it's doing pretty badly since I'm not releasing videos left, right, and center or more consistent. I did plan to restart back on the YouTube algorithm kind of thing going again, but real life just gets in the way, because as you guys know, I'm currently on night shift. I don't have any more night shift for this week and next week, but I get hit by another 2 weeks of nights afterwards, which I think at the end of it all feels like if I get started this week and then just stop again for another 2 weeks, it just doesn't feel right. So I might as well just restart, trying to get back on the groove of things after the big night shift fortnight. So I do have things in mind that I really want to do. I kind of feel like I want more videos that are more engaging with the audience and a lot more rewatchability. So those kind of things are going through my head right now. Yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be as consistent as having like a should you pull series, you know. I feel like yeah, I've already said it in my previous video that a lot of the characters are all pretty much viable, and you know, if you have the gems, they are going to be worth your gems. There's just very few characters that, yeah, you probably should skip on those, and I've mentioned that in my previous video as well. So I think at the end of it all, I don't feel like having should you pulls anymore really helps, but if there's a lot more requests for it, I might reconsider. But yeah, at this point I'm just like, yeah, you know, I there's really not much for me to say whether you should pull or not, because you know, at the end of it all, it's your money and it's your gems if you end up using money anyway. And you know, I'm not here to tell you what you can do with it. I'm just advising with my own personal opinion, and those are just opinions. But yeah, I do feel like it's not worth the pain. But yeah, like I said, but I might reconsider if there's more requests for it. Anyway, what else can I talk about the fight? I kind of went on a tangent there. I don't think there's anything else really to talk about. I generally told you guys how to deal with the fight itself. As for characters though, I mean, you can wait for RCLF for HP silence if you don't have Kefka. That's another option, although RCLF is kind of on the slower side versus Kefka. Kefka, you know, has some turn stealing capabilities. He's pretty fast on those, so that you can be missing that. But the thing is, Arciela is also like an aura based character, and so she is going to help your team even though she's not taking turns a lot. Who else? So Amethyst Lion is nice, and again, Ultimecia, if you have Ultimecia's burst, which I really wanted to get but did not get, is another option for turn deletion. Yeah, we just have a few options here to actually try and cheese this one. So in terms of ice base attack, obviously you got Onion Knight, you got Cater can do that as well, Snow can do that as well. We've got quite a few characters that can actually use ice base attacks, so go ahead and pick out those if you really want to do this properly. But yeah, I think I'll end the video right here, guys. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, and I would really appreciate it if you do. And follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Monchkinz Gaming. This is Monchkinz logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next level.